A, your alma mater, which I know means so much to you, Winston-Salem State. So what does it mean that we're doing this here on First Take on your show?
Well, it's special. We would have been in attendance on the campus of Winston-Salem State University had it not been for COVID, obviously. All three of us would have been there. Can't thank the both of you, along with everybody here at First Take, for supporting HBCUs the way that we have. I certainly couldn't do it without y'all, so I thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. But my alma mater means everything to me. CE Gaines, you saw those letters on the basketball court. I got my boy Justin Ross. He's a member of the basketball team. He's wearing jersey number 20. He's sitting in the gym right now. He's a member of the reigning CIAA champion, Winston-Salem State University Rams basketball team. They're just special to me. They've always been special to me. They'll always will be special to me because Coach Gaines made sure that me and my crew of boys that are still my lifelong buddies, they're my brothers forever. I just got a lot of love for the university. It's my alma mater. I'm incredibly proud to be from there. And it's a beautiful thing to start off, our tributes to HBCUs with my alma mater. I'm very, very honored. And let me thank the bosses upstairs, the Dave Roberts, the Norby Williamsons, the Jimmy Pataras of the world. Couldn't happen without their okay as well. So I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you to everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be checking in periodically throughout the show, so we will enjoy it. And we'll also get into the scholarship in your name as well. So it's going to be a great week as we honor HBCUs during Black History Month. But fellas, we are going to pick things up in the association, the Brooklyn Nets. We need to talk about what happened last night. So let's do this. They took down the team ESPN has now deemed #1 in our player rankings. That would be the Clippers. A quality win, Kyrie dropping 39. Katie and Harden both dropping 20-plus. Let's hear from them right now.
I think we made the right plays down the stretch, especially Kyrie and James controlling the ball. And, I felt like, when those guys got it out top, they got the defense at their mercy.
It's not about points for me. It's not about stats for me. It's about getting a win. And I think since I've been here, I've tried to do whatever it takes in order for us to have a win, and that's all that matters.
Stephen A., could that Nets team win the championship? The Nets team we saw last night.
Oh, yeah, they could win the championship. They play like that. First of all, let's give props where props is due. Kyrie Irving was a showstopper. He was absolutely, positively sensational. He put on the show. He was box office the way we know he can be. Box office. The efficiency of Kevin Durant. The man had 28 points on 13 shots. Hit 11 of his 13 shots, okay? This is Kevin Durant. And, of course, James Harden putting in a triple-double with 23, 14, 11. It was just special to see, no question about it. And to see the Nets go up and then Brooklyn to run off 13 straight, led by Kyrie coming off the bench, dropping 2 threes and another bucket. Kevin Durant putting in a couple of threes. James Harden hitting a 3 as well. They were just abusing Nicholas Batum. I mean, everybody that he was guarding in the fourth quarter seemed to be able to score. But the offensive firepower that the Brooklyn Nets have, again, their defense doesn't need to be horrid. It doesn't need to be god-awful. But this team can give up 120 points a night and still win because we see that they can outscore anybody on the planet. They are the #1 offense in basketball. Last night was a display as to why that is. And in order to beat them, you're going to have to be able to stop them. And I don't know anybody that can look at those 3 dudes, that big 3 in Brooklyn, and say definitively, we can stop them. Of course, the Lakers should be the favorites, but it's by a hair simply because of the offensive juggernaut that they are. They don't have to change a damn thing to get to the finals. They are coasting. They're coming out of the East. They're going to the NBA Finals. In order to win it, if last night, you're asking me, play like that and they could win? Yes, as constructed, playing offense like that, they can win the championship. I don't know if they'd be able to against the Lakers offensively, but they can win a championship without making a move if they can play offense like that every night.
They cannot win the championship unless they make a move. The roster as currently constructed can't win it all this year. Let me start by saying they, since the Harden trade, have been the best offense ever. in the history of the NBA since the Harden trade. And it's not hard to believe when you have three guys who can all get their own shot at elite historical levels and hit the shots from anywhere on the floor, the free throw anywhere. 3-point range doesn't matter. And then none of those three are even the best shooter on the team because you got Joe Harris on the same squad, right? And you have a guy like Jeff Green, who when you play him as a 4, really, they're playing him at the 5 because they just don't have a 5, really, who can play big minutes. He's much better than when he was a wing player earlier in his career. Their offense is ridiculous, and Kyrie Irving put on a show. Kyrie Irving puts on the best show in basketball, period. Any level. Best show that anyone puts on in the game is Kyrie Irving, and he did his thing last night. But guys, what was that thing? Let's be honest right now. They're playing a Clippers team 6 games into a road trip that was playing their 5th game in 7 nights. 5th game in 7 nights. So this is not like a refreshed, normal kind of Clippers team you're going to face. And not only that, but with the Nets playing like that, with Kyrie playing like that, with James Harden, that heads-up full-court pass that put them up, with the Nets playing like that, Paul George had an open look at 3 to tie the game. Like, the Nets got a little lucky. Paul George missed that shot just to win that game last night. I'm never questioning the Nets offense. And I got more news for you. The Nets offense is going to get better. By the playoffs, it's going to be better than this. They're going to be more used to playing together. But Stephen A., they're not going to get to the finals, let alone win it, with the worst defense ever. And right now, they're on pace to have the worst defense ever since the Harden trade. The defensive possession is not over until you secure the board. You got to secure that ball. And they're not getting defensive rebounds at the very least. They got to bring someone in who can do that by the deadline.
There's so much to teach you about the game of basketball, Max Kellerman. Let me tell you something right now. When you sit up there and you talk about the Clippers and their 5 games and 7 nights, Max Kellerman, do you see the Clippers in the first game of a long road trip being able to stop that offense? Of course you don't. Nobody's stopping that offense. What I'm saying is that if you're looking at the Clippers and you want to bring up missed shots, that comes with the territory. But I get where you're coming from in all seriousness. But offensively, in terms of the Brooklyn Nets, what you see is what you get. What they did last night, they can do against anybody, anytime they want to, number one. Number 2, here's the thing, the little nugget of information, and I know you saw this, but I'm going to remind you anyway. It's not just a handshake after the game. It's the deferential treatment Kevin Durant provided. Kyrie took 23 shots. Kevin Durant took 13. Didn't seem to mind at all. James Harden is shooting considerably less than he was shooting in Houston. Didn't seem to mind at all. Doesn't seem to mind at all. The level of unselfishness, faith, and togetherness those 3 are showing with one another is something that I think we can't ignore. Because I'm looking at Kyrie and I'm looking at James Harden and I'm saying, excuse me, you got to know to get the ball to KD when all is said and done, because this brother is just on that level. But the flip side is, if he doesn't mind and they don't mind, and all 3 of them don't care about who's getting off, and that selflessness is something that we continue to see as the season progresses, then the leadership that we're expecting from a Kevin Durant is something that he will be providing. And as a result, that is what's going to make them even more potent as far as I'm concerned, which is why I have no question that they're coming out of the Eastern Conference.
I do. By the way, I am picking them to get to the finals because I do think they'll make a move. And more to Kevin Durant's leadership, he's also, if you notice, taking on the toughest perimeter defensive assignment night in and night out.
That's true.
He's still not what he was defensively before he got hurt, but he's accepting that assignment night in and night out. You can't say enough about Kevin Durant's leadership so far this season. I'm not questioning that. And if it was a one-and-done tournament, then yeah, the Nets could win the whole thing like this. Because I agree, any one game, they could just turn on the Jets, and what are you going to do? They can hit shots from – they're going to have the best offense ever. Stephen A., they're not going to do that to the Lakers 4 out of 7 games. They barely were able to do it to the Clippers at home, a tired Clippers team.
But you're saying they need a move to get to the finals.
When Kawhi and Paul George –
Aren't you saying they need a move to get to the finals?
Yes, I am.
And I'm saying they don't.
Kawhi
and
and PG, right. When Kawhi and PG are trying to lock down your best offensive players, right? So they're on KD and James Harden. The insane thing about the Nets is who's on Kyrie? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Stephen A., you know it as well as I do. You ain't going to get to the finals even playing the worst defense of all time. That ain't going to happen.
This
They're
team
gonna
will
have
get
to bring someone in.
This team will get to the finals.
I don't see who on the roster is going to do the dirty work on defense.
This team will get to the finals, Molly, without making one single move. They will get to the finals. There is no one in the East that's stopping them from going to the finals as long as they